Sorry, y'all. Forgot I had the loop button still on. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Two
What's
Fans in the
happening?
Stands. I'm your favorite armchair GM, CJ.
And I'm your favorite couch god extraordinaire, Tony. Come on, one time. Uh,
What's going on, Tony? How you feeling, cuz?
Man, I can't call it. You know me. Six in one hand, half a dozen in the other. Guess I called even, dog. How about yourself?
I'm all right, man. I can't complain. I can't complain at all, man. Hey,
How
it's
we
new. It's
feeling? How we feeling?
hey. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm kind of scared to say exactly how I really feel. Because the Panthers have taught me a lesson 2 years in a row, not to
Right,
get
right.
not to get too excited, you know. But I I'm okay. I'm just gonna say this. I'm okay. I'm okay right now. And that's about all I'm gonna be until that first game of the preseason. I'm okay. I'm all right. Everything good.
Yeah. I'm
What
I'm
about you?
you know what? I kind of got down in the dumps because of the season and immediately right after the season, I was in my feelings and feeling all kind of negative emotions and whatnot. But one thing I said I'm gonna do this year or leading up to this year, I'm gonna remain optimistic. I'm just not gonna put a lot of hope into the season or the season to be like I did
Mm,
last year. Like I'm not gonna get my hopes up too high, but
yeah.
I'm gonna remain optimistic and you know, um like we stated early on in the week and how we've been talking back and forth, there are little pieces to the puzzles that's starting to fall in place. And you know, so far so good. It looks good. Everything looks good when it's on paper. So that's why I
Mm-hmm.
say, you know what, I'm gonna remain optimistic, and we're just gonna let the pieces fall where they may. And then when they start cooking their gumbo, you know what I'm saying? Now, right now they're getting all the seasonings. They prepping. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-mm.
They no no
Nah, dog. No, we ain't cooking
no
gumbo
we
up.
ain't
This
gonna
is North Car.
we
This
ain't
is
cooking
North
gumbo.
Carolina, baby. We barbecuing. We
Oh,
got we got briskets on the smoker. Okay, pulled pork. That's what we famous for around this joint. All right. Damn that gumbo. We cooking. We on the grill. All right.
enough said. Enough
Yes,
said.
sir. Paul, it's a good Saturday, fellas. I love this hire, and especially if he can retain Evero as a defensive coordinator. I'm hearing the Bucks wide receiver coach will become the Panthers offensive coordinator. I have heard the same thing, and I do feel the same
Yeah.
way about them retaining Evero. So I just want to say what's up to you. Thanks for pulling through. What's up, Doug? How you doing, man? It's a new intro. Yeah, man. I worked on that
See
till about
Dougie.
2 o'clock this morning, and I told Tony right before we started. I said I got something I think you're gonna like, and here he go. Well,
Hey,
you ain't asked me to be a part of it. So you don't know if I'm gonna like it or not. I was like, you gonna like it.
hey, Doug. Hey, he just sprung it on me brand new. I learned of it as you learned of it. So, hey, it's all
B
good.
Amos, what's going on? How you doing? How you doing, man?
What's going on, B.
He said, no.
Amos?
So we are all on yes, indeed. We are all officially on Evero watch right now. We sure are.
He has his
We
second.
sure
He
are.
has a second interview with the Seattle Seahawks today. So we'll
Yeah.
see what comes of that.
And you know what? I don't wish nothing bad on anybody. Okay.
Right.
My heart of heart, I hope he goes up there. I hope he kills the interview, and I hope he, I in my heart, I hope he gets the job. Okay. Do I really want him to get the job? Do I want him to come back as defensive coordinator and be able to see what he can do with some healthy players and hopefully stay healthy and maybe some additions to the defense? Yes. Okay. But
Right.
let me go ahead and
Right.
put this out in the ether. Coach Evero, I wish you well, and I do hope you do good. I hope you get the job. Okay. But if you don't,
Yeah.
hey, our arms are open wide for you back in Carolina. We love to have you back.
Well, he's still under contract with Carolina, so I don't think he will leave unless it is for a head coaching job.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
But
about. The head
like
coaching job.
yeah, there's only two remain on the table. That's Seattle and Washington, and I think
Mm,
Washington have their eyes set on Ben Johnson. So,
I I
eh,
think that's I think it's probably a foregone conclusion with Ben Johnson. They just waiting to see
right,
if he make it to the Super Bowl or not. I think they
right,
got that deal.
right.
I think that deal is done. and they're just waiting on them to see
John
what you do,
Hancock.
chat. Yeah,
Yeah,
they,
all
they
they
might as
need
well
is John
go ahead
Hancock.
and say, yep. Supernova
Yeah.
Moore, how you doing? Thank you for pulling up on us today. We appreciate you.
What's
All
going
right.
on, Supernova man? How you
Of
doing?
course, hate to see Chris Tabor go, but understand that Canales needs his voice and vision to the team. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie.
Fact.
When I saw that Tabor left, I ain't gonna lie. I knew Camping was getting the boot. Okay, I knew Camping was getting the boot, and we were on Panthers Prime podcast the other day, and we told Demetrius that well, I told him Camping, I think he was a victim of Frank Wright's system because you saw what he had them boys doing when they got back to smash mouth power football, line up, block your
Steve
man,
Will.
open the hole. Yeah, with Steve Wilkes. You saw what he can do.
Right.
And I think it was a situation where it was just like Camping was like, hey, I've done all I can do and I can't do no more. So I tried to give him a little bit of
Right.
grace with that, but that wasn't unexpected. Now Tabor, I thought Tabor might save his job because I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of like, well, damn, what did Tabor do? You know what I
Like
mean?
that would that one
What?
to me didn't really make any sense. I mean, I know people said Paul said earlier that Canales wants to have his own voice and vision. I mean, I get that, but I don't think Chris Tabor was would jeopardize that vision. I mean, he's a special teams coach. It's not like he
Mm-hmm.
was the coordinator or quarterbacks coach or defense coordinator or cornerbacks coach. He was special teams coach, and over the past 4 or 5 years, his special teams have consistently ranked in the top 5 in the league. That's a valuable asset to have. Not only that, that everyone a part of the special teams love him. You know what I'm saying? John the
Yeah,
Hecker,
he wasn't
said
happy.
this was a yeah, he wasn't happy about it. So you talking about now you bring in or looking for another special team coach. Yeah, it might be your guy, but what about the guys that they have to coach? And the relationship that Johnny Hecker and JJ Jansen and
Mm-hmm.
Pinero have developed with him. I don't think that was a move that he had to make. But
Man,
we don't
damn,
know
Manny
the
Pinero,
reasons.
he can go with him.
Yeah.
I'm
we, we,
sorry.
we, we we don't know the reasons, but I that's one. I didn't understand that move. I understand the James Campen move, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand the Chris Tabor move. But that's the
Yeah.
thing though. When you set yourself up and you fall into that interim head coaching position and your record is 1-5, like nobody's talking about he was working with somebody else's trash. You know what I mean? But that 1-5 gonna play a part, on his resume one way or the other. That's why I did not want Ivero or I didn't want Thomas Brown getting it.
They say going too deep. Tony said the man they're looking at, a guy whose special team ranking is top 10 this year, and I do believe he's in Seattle because I saw an article on that before we got on, and I think his
Yeah,
special
yeah.
team's been ranked
Top,
in the top 10 last 3 years.
yeah, but Chris Tabor been in the top 5 last 4 or 5 years. I mean, come on. Men lie,
Yeah.
women lie, women don't. Come on, Doug. Come
Oh
on.
shit.
Top 10, top 5. Which one you rather have?
Hey,
I'm just
look,
saying.
we gonna drop the link here in a little bit. But what I wanted to do is, all right, I wanted to start off. We got to go back a little bit because there's been a lot that happened since the last time we went live. Okay, so one of the
Whole
things
lot.
that happened is Dan Morgan is our new GM. Okay,
Yes,
um,
sir.
I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie. When the news came out, I was sitting on the couch and I heard a whole lot of bad words. My wife and mother-in-law come around the corner like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Nothing, nothing. It's not because I do that from time to time. I be sitting and looking at sports news, and I start screaming something. They be like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Nothing. Sports. It's okay." I don't know, Tony. I was not a fan of this at first. I really
I know you
wasn't.
wasn't.
Because, well, yeah, I told you to. Because my thing is this: I'm thinking you clean house, you clean house. All right.
Right.
General manager, assistant general manager. Suleiman is getting the boot. Like I said, Tabor's gone. Camping is gone. Just about all the rest of the coaching staff is gone. He gonna bring in his whole new staff. But I figured Morgan would get the boot too. What you think about it?
I didn't. And, you know, like I said to you before, when they fired Scott Fitterer, they moved Dan Morgan to interim GM. So as interim GM, he's going to be operating as he's the GM. So he was still employed with the team. So when they started this interviewing process, he was a part of it. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm under the I'm thinking that during that process, it was either something that Tepper saw or somebody from the search committee saw was like, we looking at all these different candidates, and your best candidate may be right here beside you.
Okay.
Now, that's how I hope that it played out. It may not played out like that, but I'm just
Mm-hmm.
thinking if that man is in the if he's involved in the process and he's in the room as decisions are being made and thought out and things like that, and then someone has a light that comes on and say, well, you know what, your best candidate is right here in house.
Okay.
So I mean, listen, we saw we saw what type of GM John Lynch could be, and he came in as a GM straight from being a TV analyst. Like he wasn't
Mm-hmm.
working in an organization or working with nobody, you know, at all. And
Yeah.
we've seen what type of um progress and seeing the benefits that the 49ers have gotten with him and Shanahan are working together. Now that's the same thing I'm hoping that happens with Dan Morgan. So I just think, finally having something that we talked about a number of times is finally having somebody that has played the game
Mm-hmm.
that's involved in making decisions. They look at things and see things differently than somebody that you just brought in that used to work on Wall Street or got a degree in analytics and they work their way up. That's all cool and that's all well and good. But if you have not played the game, it's different. And the way they evaluate talent is totally different too, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, as the days have gone by, I've kind of lightened my stance on this a little bit because at first, I was just expecting clean house. Everybody gone. You start new. They had the firm in to help them hire GM and all this stuff. So I'm not even gonna lie. I did not think Dan Morgan was even going to be a candidate. Period. Okay. But if y'all take a look at the thumbnail, this is my biggest concern. Okay. And I'm going to show it here in a second. But as the days have gone by, if Dan Morgan can put his past playing experience to good use for evaluating talent, if him and the head coach can come together, talk, be in agreement on who they want to go after free agent wise, be in agreement on who they want to go after in the draft, how with the direction of the team, how they want to move, the identity, the culture. I don't think Dan Morgan is a bad hire. But okay, you got this dude right here, and this is the thumbnail that I put up for the for the live. Okay, you got a new era in Carolina, which I'm loving it. I'm digging it. Okay, but you got these two gentlemen right here, okay, who are reporting directly to that big headed dude faded out in the background back there. All right. And I have no issue with them reporting to him, okay, because we're not the only team in the league that does that. And I had really never heard of that until a couple days ago that we weren't the only one. And then yesterday I saw something where the Falcons are doing it, where the GM and Raheem Morris are going to report to Arthur Blank. Okay.
Yeah,
So
every go ahead.
no, no, I'm just saying because usually it's the coach and whoever they report to the GM, then the GM relays that information to the owner. There's usually a buffer in between the head coach, I mean the in between the owner and the rest of the staff. All right. But my only thing is they can report to him, that's fine. But is he going to say, okay, y'all are going to do this, 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 and this? Hopefully it's not a situation where they're like, all right, I don't like it. We're gonna go in a different direction because I'm the owner and I'm a billionaire and I'm big and bad and I know everything about everything. Hopefully it's a situation where it's like, okay, this is what we did this week. This is who we're looking at going after. We worked the numbers out, or draft day. Okay, we're gonna trade up, we're gonna do this. And I hope it's a situation where he says, you know what, fellas, that's what I hired you for. Go do what you do. Call me when it's over. Let me know what how much money I got to write. Let me know how big the check need to be.
I got you. I feel you. And hope. I mean, as of right now, we don't know, but I do believe Tepper is smart enough to realize that he has a lot of egg on his face right now around the league. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
that no, he cannot escape what happened in Jacksonville, and the only way that you can escape that and clean up your image per se is to
Mm-hmm.
fall back. And I think he made that initial effort, one, when he made Dan Morgan not only the general manager, but the president of football operations. And then two,
Okay.
allowing Dan Morgan and Dave Canales to not only get rid of Camping, but get rid of Tabor too. And they're going to bring in their own guys. Because even the wide receiver coach that he wants to bring over from Tampa Bay, I think his name is Bob Izzik. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
he worked. Oh, he followed Canales from Seattle to Tampa Bay, and I don't think he's bringing him over as offensive coordinator. I think he's
Mm-hmm.
going to be the wide receivers coach here
Yeah.
because Dave Canales said he likes to be on the sideline, so you need your
Mm-hmm.
eyes in the sky. So I
Yeah.
think the communication between him and Bob is going to be of importance because I saw a report that they're going to interview Marcus. It was not Darby, but I can't remember his last name. But he
From
used
the
to be the
Colts. I know you're
offensive
talking about.
coordinator. Yeah, from the Colts. Now I don't know if I like that one too much because that's the same guy that Frank Wright fired when he was in Indianapolis. Now I've seen reports. I don't know too much about him, but I've seen reports that say that it wasn't really his fault, but that's neither here nor there. You know, so I
Yeah.
don't know. I think the Bob
Wasn't Thomas
Izzik
Brown
thing
fault
is
neither.
more. I think the Bob Izzik thing is more of being Dave Cannella's right hand man, his eyes in the skies. I don't think he's going to be offense coordinator because even if he is, Dave Canales is going to be the play caller. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. The Panthers
yeah,
already said that he's going to call plays. So let me see. Rock Jones. He said on the Panthers website, we do not have a offensive line coach and special teams coach. Thomas Brown is still listed as offensive coordinator. Hmm.
yeah,
Well,
yeah, he
I,
is.
I I don't think that's gonna be on there for too much longer, but that's just my opinion, and we'll see. But Tony, getting back
Yeah.
to Dan Morgan before we move on, how important do you think his first year is going to be? Do you think this is make or break? Like if they don't nail the draft and free agency this year, is this that year where it's just like, okay, if we get this wrong now, like everybody says about Bryce Young and how the franchise has been set back for 15 years, so if Dan Morgan doesn't get it right, is this the same situation where we're set back for years and years and years to come off of just this year?
No, because I think we've 15 years. That's just an extreme exaggeration. Um, I think we're set. We were already set back before we hired Dan Morgan and Dave Canales. Remember, we don't have a first round draft pick this year. We don't
Mm-hmm.
pick to the top of the second round. And as we stand right now, we like just barely over 40 million in cap space. We
Mm-hmm.
gotta try to keep Brian Burns if that's something that they want to do. You
Mm-hmm.
gotta sign Derek Brown to an extension if that's something that
Mm-hmm.
you want to do, which I'm pretty sure that's what they want to do. You gotta decide if you want to give JC Horn extension. He's coming to his fourth year. How do you feel about, they got to figure out how they feel about that. Like there's a lot of different pieces. There's a lot on their plate that they're not going to come in here and just get everything solved the first year. To me, in my opinion, my honest
Hmm.
opinion, this is like a 2 or 3 year project at its bare minimum. You know what I'm saying? If you came,
Okay.
if Dan Morgan came into this year and had 10 draft picks and had a first rounder, I can say, you have a little bit more leeway, a lot more room to maneuver this year to say what you could possibly be within year one, year two. But because you don't have those resources, you don't have those draft picks, you're kind of starting from behind the eight ball. So I think right now their job is stop the leakage to keep the ship from shrinking any further.
Sinking.
That's yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Stop.
I'm picking at you, cuz.
What?
No, it's like you said,
Hey, what?
shrinking.
No, I think that's a shrinking.
Yeah, I think you said shrinking. Never mind. Never mind. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I
You
meant
know me.
sinking, sinking.
You know me. You know I'm gonna get you. Hey,
Yeah,
let's
it's
talk
all
about the
good.
money here. B Amos with the $10 super chat. Thank you very much. We appreciate you always pulling up on us,
Appreciate it,
and
B.
we thank you.
Amos.
We thank you. Okay, and you
Hope to
know,
see you at
and
training camp again this year, man.
oh yeah. And that reminds me, y'all. Okay, I haven't said it yet, but if you haven't already and you're watching, please subscribe to the channel. We're still on our way to our goal of 1,000 subscribers. We're currently at 899. There would be nothing that would make me more happy today than to see that bad boy switch over to 900. Okay, if we can just get one out of y'all,
Yeah,
I would be ecstatic today because it's been at 899 for a while. But you know,
for a while now.
we're gonna try to fix that. All right. But B Amos,
Yeah,
thank you. We appreciate you. Okay. All right. Hey, now Tony, now get back to Dan Morgan. Also, now he's got some major decisions to make with some of these players and contracts, just like you said. Okay. Now, my thoughts on JC Horn is, and I love JC Horn. I got his jersey on right now.
me
Okay.
too.
But my thoughts on JC Horn going into this is fourth year, right? All right, I think this is a show me year, kind of a prove it year. You got to go out there. Well, and okay, you know what? No, let me back off that a little bit. I don't think he has a whole lot to show except for except for him staying on the field. Okay, I
Staying
think
healthy.
that's
Yeah,
what he has to show is that he can stay healthy. All right, and I think if he can stay
exactly.
healthy for a year, they go ahead and give him a contract. But trying to add an extension onto him right now might be, piling too much, too much weight on the scale. If that makes sense, it's going to be too much as far as contracts go because you got Brian Burns and you got Derek Brown. To me, I'd pay Derek Brown before I paid anybody because he's proven it,
Right,
year after year.
right,
So that would be
right.
my first. Um, Brian Burns, and we talked about this the other day too. If I were the Panthers, I think his contract needs to be, with a lot of incentives. Like you need to do this, you need to hit this mark, you need to get this many tackles, this many sacks, you need to play this many games, and they'll give him stuff, over time. But him going out last year and the season that he had, it was not a 25-30 million dollar a year season. Okay. And as I like to quote one of my favorite shows, the Wire, and they say the price of the brick has gone up. In this case, I think the price of the brick has gone down when it comes to Brian Burns.
Right.
But I do think he's worth it. I do think he's worth it, but I think he has to go out there and kind of reestablish himself after last year, especially after coming out and saying that he was a little apprehensive because he didn't have a deal. So
Yeah, he didn't
that's
want to
just
get
my
hurt.
thought. He
Hey,
didn't want to get hurt.
but before you go on, let me. Hey, what's up? Hey, Doug. Hey, I don't
Oh
appreciate
Lord,
you
you don't
using
went
all
back.
caps on. Yeah, I don't appreciate you using all caps on me, sir. Even though you were right. We were not top five last year. We were 23rd, and Seattle was number 6 in special teams. So you are correct, sir. But you ain't got to yell at me through the chat. Appreciate you.
Tell them, Tone, we
Carry
got a
on, cuz.
touchdown versus the Bears.
Yeah.
But 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 um but what do you think it will probably be the first thing they do? Because I really think this whole roster is going to go through a massive overhaul. What are your thoughts?
I think if they bring Ivero back, I'm not gonna say bring him back. If Ivero doesn't get a head coaching job and he's still the defense coordinator next year, I don't think the defense would be. I think most of the defense will be intact. I think the thing with Brian Burns is I think the best option probably would try, go ahead and franchise tag him because he just played his 5th year, so he is a free agent. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? He's played a 5th year. Scott Fitterer took that risk of letting him get to a 5th year contract, and 5th year of his contract would give without giving him extension. So now you run the risk of losing him through free agency. So the Panthers have to decide whether they're going to franchise tag him before he hits free agency. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So to possibly you want to get extension done because it help you with the salary cap because that free up more money that you can sign Derek Brown and still have more money, to do other
Hmm.
things. But I don't know exactly what's going to be done, but there's going to be some maneuvering.
Hmm.
There's going to be some restructuring and things like that. We're not going to go into the season with just $40 million of cap space. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure of that. But there's going to be some people that's going to be let go. That's probably
Hmm.
in their 4th year contract. We know C.J. Henderson. He's probably not coming back unless he signs some ridiculously low contract extension or something like
I, I
that. I
I
don't
wish I
know.
had a pair of glasses right now. I get my Shannon Sharp on that me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nope.
I don't know if
Mm-mm.
you can get a first and third round pick for Brian Burns right now, especially after this past year. But if
I
you
was going to
could,
mention that.
oh,
Yeah.
if you could, oh, that would be lovely. I
Hey,
think
go
I would
for it.
pull the trigger on it.
You know what? I don't know if I would really want to, but if they were able to get a first and a third for Burns, I wouldn't be mad at them. I wouldn't be
Right.
mad at them. But you've got to also think about the weight of this decision because you get rid of your best pass rusher. Who are you going to replace them with? Like you said, we don't have a first round pick. Okay. Our
Right.
offensive line is in shambles, and you and me both agree that our first pick needs to be somewhere on the trenches, offensive, defensive line. So
Yeah.
history has shown that the Panthers picking past the second round has not been all that great. So, will
No, it
we be
hasn't.
lucky? Will we be lucky enough to hit like the Rams, who this past year had a third round pick and I want to say a fourth or fifth round pick that both ended up with 8+ sacks? Okay. Now, mind you,
Yeah.
you think 8+ sacks, you think, okay, well, that's not a lot. But for both of them to get them as rookies, okay, on both sides of that line, that would be huge for us because Brian Burns got like 8.5 sacks. And then, you had Justin Houston who flamed out, DJ Johnson who didn't show up, and then your Tia Gross Matos who was hurt, and he got a couple. And and I'm not trying to talk no trash about DJ Johnson, but I think it was a combination of a lot of things for him, and his rookie year to me was just non-existent. So I hope
Yeah.
he can get
Yeah.
better because he's on the team. He's probably gonna be on the team for another year. So I hope he can get better, but it just didn't happen this year. It just didn't happen at all.
Right.
Roger Jones, can you
Right.
replace Burns? We already don't have anybody opposite. And that's the key question. That is the key
Yeah.
question. If they move on from Brian Burns, well, you know what? And now let me go back. If they do move on from Brian Burns and get a first round pick, would it be a first round pick in this year's draft? Would it be a first round pick in next year's draft? Do we
It would
have
have.
to sit here?
Go ahead.
Go
No, go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say if I'm gonna trade for a first and third, you need that first this year.
this
You
year.
need to
Okay.
recoup you need to recoup the first round draft pick that you gave to Chicago to
Mm,
draft, to move up and draft Bryce Young. Yeah, I'm not. Look, we was already offering future first round draft picks for Bryce Young. I mean for Brian Burns from the Rams. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And we let that one go. If you
Mm-hmm.
you you need to recoup whatever you can recoup or get to help with this current draft.
I got you. I'm with you. Being so, I wouldn't mind bringing YGN back for the low. Oh yeah, if he coming back, it's
Yeah,
gonna be on a team friendly deal. And Josh said,
yeah.
I'm hoping they can find a way to keep Burn. I am too. I am too. But if letting him go or not letting him go, maybe franchise him, trade him or whatever. But if figuring something out for him that's beneficial from the team, this season and moving forward, once we see the results of that, I hopefully, wouldn't be too mad at it. Okay.
I
All right.
agree. I agree with
Yeah.
that.
All right. So Tony, so next thing that
Yes,
happened since
sir.
we've been live, okay, we got a new head coach.
What? Say what? When
We
that
got a
happened?
new head we
When
got a new
when
head
that happened,
coach.
bud?
So the GM search, the coach search, it is officially over, and we have hired Dave Canales as our head coach. Okay, and for those who don't know, he is formerly the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, what are your thoughts on
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Dave here?
Well, you know, I don't know. I can't say too much about him because we don't know much about him. He spent his first 10 years in Seattle, or
Mm-hmm.
10 no, first 13 years in Seattle,
Mm-hmm.
under Pete Carroll. And this was his first year as being the offense coordinator in Tampa Bay. But from all the reports that I've read, and I've also watched a video of an interview that he did last year when he got hired by Tampa Bay, and he was on somebody's podcast. I can't remember the podcast, but it was talking about his offensive philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
Things like analytics, up tempo, pre-motion
Yeah.
snaps, things like that. I like everything that I heard. I'm not
Okay.
gonna lie. You when you talk about these young, innovative, fresh
Mm-hmm.
minds of the game, he seems to be built from that. And
All
it
right.
doesn't hurt that you came up under a coach who's older but evolved with the game. You know what I'm saying? So I
Mm-hmm.
like the fact that he comes from that Pete Carroll tree. You
Okay.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if everything that I've read
Mm-hmm.
and from the video that I watched and from what people have said, especially players,
Yeah.
I was looking more so what, you know, players that he has coached and that has played for him is all positive. Whether it was Mike Evans, Geno Smith, those guys have nothing but, positive to say about Dave Canales. So I'm that's why I say I'm gonna remain optimistic right now.
Okay. Let me
What
see.
what what
Nadir
about
said
you?
there was nobody else, either him or Raheem Morris. Well, now I'm gonna disagree with that slightly because they were still they had virtual interviews with both offensive and defensive coordinator from the Ravens, Ben Johnson from the Lions. But I think it was a situation where Carolina wanted to go ahead and get their head coach, and the reports were that he came in and just completely floored everybody with his interview. They say his interview was just that damn good. Okay,
But
and
yeah,
as somebody who was sat in on an interview panel and my job, when you get that one person in there and it's like, oh my God, everything they said just put a smile on my face, you know, hey, sometimes you just gotta go ahead and pull the trigger. And it looks like that's what they did. But my thoughts on Canales, and I've said this before and I'll say this again. If he can come in and be able, okay, to get the best out of Bryce Young and this offense. And when I say that, I say whatever scheme he brings, because I haven't watched a lot of tape on the Bucks. I gotta do that here in the future. But whatever scheme he brings in, I just hope he's able to look at last year's tape of the Panthers. And the one thing I want him to do, okay, is to say, you know what? That did not work. Write that down, scratch it off. We're not going to do this. Okay. Go on to your next clip. You know what? Y'all sucked at that. Scratch that off. We're not going to do this either. Next clip. You know what? This is the first clip I've seen in 5 hours of tape where y'all did something really, really good. Let me go ahead and put a check mark next to this, and we're going to use this again. Okay. Pick whatever he
Right.
can out of the little bit of positives that we had on our offense last year, because there wasn't many. Okay, take the positives, see if he can incorporate that into his system. All right. See what his system will do with the roster and the players that we got. That is the one thing that I hope he does. He seems like a good guy. He seems like he's got good energy. You know, the Panthers need a culture shock. They need a culture shock, culture change. You know, he needs to come in, lay the foundation of how he wants this place to be, and hopefully he can, you know, he can build on that. So that's all I'm looking for Canales. All right. And did said Ben Johnson
Okay.
already turned it down. Did he?
I don't know, but we got Mr. Hunky Dory just made a donation.
Oh, you know, Ben, he probably did. He turned down last year. But Mr. Hunky Dory with a $10 super chat. Thank you so
Thank
very
you,
much.
sir.
It said I'm late, but let me say DC DMEE all in 40s. Oh, Canales, Evero, and Dan Morgan. We got young
Yeah,
talent at the right time before others got them. We are not getting fired coaches after their prime. Hey, I
that's a
can't
very
disagree
valid
with that.
point.
I
That's a
can't
very
disagree
valid
with that.
point.
Yeah, and Mr. Hunky Dory again. Thank you for the super chat. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you,
Really
sir. We
appreciate it.
appreciate it.
But yeah, but you know what? Kind of adding on to that a little bit, the Panthers have to get better at developing their talent. Okay, players,
Right.
coaches, you know, all together. Because we got a bad habit of bringing people in, and you see the potential, and then the Panthers are like, nah, all right, we're good. Then they move on somewhere, and then you're like, oh, well, that's what they could have done if they use them right. You know, especially during the Dave
Mhm.
Gettleman era. Oh my God, you know, what little bit of hair I got, I promise you, I pulled it out twice when Gettleman was the GM, because he was just like, "Oh, you did good this year. Oh, you want to get paid? Absolutely not. Here, take this handful of crumbs, and if you don't want that, get out my building." I promise you that seemed
Yeah,
like Gettleman's philosophy, and I could not stand it. All right.
yeah,
What's up, Doug? There are no reports I did that Ben Johnson turned down the job. I didn't hear any. I didn't
yeah.
hear
I
any.
didn't think so. I didn't hear nothing either. I didn't hear nothing,
Okay.
but I did see a report that nobody had interviewed or off. Nobody had asked for an interview with Dave Canales, but the Panthers.
Oh,
I
okay.
did see that post on Twitter. I can't remember who posted it. But yeah,
I saw that too, and then I saw a lot of comments and people mentioned, well, like, well, you know, well, he gonna be trash, and then nobody want him. They didn't want him for a reason. The Panthers were the only one that wanted him. Well,
no.
you never know.
Look,
Hopefully, and I throw that word out there loose. Hopefully, we got a diamond in the rough. So,
but
hey,
this is when they hired Dan Morgan and the reports first came out. Even before they hired Dan Morgan, there's reports that came out that Dan Morgan and Dave Canales had a relationship. They were, I saw a video of them greeting each other and hugging each other on the sidelines before we played
mm-hmm,
Tampa Bay. And when we dive more into it, when we start talking about what we would like to see in our next head coach and GM, everybody, a lot of people were talking about they wanted to see a package deal, or they wanted to see that the head coach and the GM had some type of past relationship. They want to see that continuity between the two. Well,
mm-hmm.
this one right here, these two, I haven't seen a better continuity between the head coach and GM hire this year than those two. I mean, they spent 8 years
On
together in
paper,
Seattle. Yeah, I mean on paper, right? They
Mm-hmm.
spent 8 years together on at Seattle. Like you
Mm-hmm.
say, they both young.
Mm-hmm.
So, you got a GM. Like I said, I'm gonna try to give Dan Morgan the benefit of doubt that he's going to be able to identify and scout talent. And then you got a young, innovative head coach that brings a lot of positivity, has shown that he knows how to work with quarterbacks, know how to build offenses around said quarterback. So I think those two as a tandem are going to work good together. And
Okay.
getting them now, getting in the building and get the ball rolling, I think it'll be a good thing, man. But like we said, these pieces just falling. I really
Mm-hmm.
want to see the press conference. I really want to hear Dan Morgan and Dave Canales lay out their vision, their plan, what direction they'd like to see this organization go. What is Dave Canales' philosophy on what type of offense? I know he's a West Coast offensive guy, and I know in the offense there's a lot of different variations that you can build and scheme around your quarterback. So
Mm-hmm.
I do know that it's a very flexible offensive system. So if he's quarterback friendly, like the reports say, then I think him
Yeah.
and Bryce Young are going to develop a really good relationship. So like I said, I'm
Hey.
just going to remain optimistic and hope everything falls into place and we get something better than what we had when we drafted Bryce.
Hey, let me tell you, I don't care if it's West Coast, East Coast, Ivory Coast. I don't give a damn. Just come in
not,
here and turn this ship around, please, Mr. Dave. Okay, that's what I'm gonna start
not the
calling Mr.
Ivory
Dave.
Coast.
Yeah, I don't give a damn what coast it is, Mr. Dave. Mr. Dave, please just
Oh
come in here and
man.
turn this thing around. That's all I want. That's all I want.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're gonna
Yeah.
slide on in because I want to open up the chat. If anybody wants, not open up, but put the link in the chat if anybody wants to come in. But I want to get through a couple more of these topics first, okay? And the next one on the list is Evero, okay? And like you said, Evero has a second interview with the Seahawks
Yeah.
to today. All right.
Today,
So
correct.
how big of a deal is it that we keep Evero in your opinion? Or if we can keep him?
Well, I know Dave Canales speaks very highly of him. He liked the job that Ivero did against Tampa Bay this year. He likes the
Hmm.
defensive scheme. He liked the fact that Carolina ranked in I think it was like top four, top five defensively. I'm just talking about yards. I ain't talking about points because we know we were dead last as
Yeah.
far as
Hmm.
points given up. But from you know, run game, even though it started off shaky in the beginning, I think we got better,
Yeah.
throughout the year, especially towards the end of the year with the run game. Passing game, we was pretty solid throughout the year. But from what Dave Canada say, he likes what he sees from there. He hope that he can keep Evero. I think it would be good to have some type of continuity in your organization somewhere. Like if you're going to get rid of Evero and Thomas Brown, now you completely talking about flipping everything. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Because
Yeah.
Evero came in and now we got a 3-4 defense. If
Hmm.
you get rid of Evero, more than likely you might switch to a 4-3. Because that's
Yeah.
what majority of the teams run nowadays. 4-3 or 4-2-5. They run a variation of the 4-3, you know.
Hmm.
Um, but I'd like that continuity that we would have, and I would like to see Vero build upon what he started this past year. I don't think I wouldn't want to lose him. Let's say that I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to lose him. I would want to see him build on what he started last year and have the opportunity to showcase that with a good offense.
Yeah. Well, it's wild if he goes to Seattle. Because if I'm not mistaken, didn't they run a version of like a 5-2 something? And they
That
had
that four
five
two
down there.
five
Okay. I
four
I, I
four
know I saw
four
five
four
defensive
yeah
backs. Okay.
yeah
All right.
four
But
four four the 4-2-5.
I'm in agreement with you. And like I said earlier, Good luck to Mr. Evero. I hope you do well. And if it's in the cards for you to get that job, I hope you go up there and do a great job for Seattle. But if you do not
Yeah.
get that job, we're all standing here with open arms, waiting for you to come back. We talked
Come
about
on
this the
home.
other day. Yeah, we talked about this the other day. The defense seemed like throughout the year they weren't that aggressive, and we was talking to Prime, and I said it's like they were playing not to lose. But you got to
Right.
realize there was a roster on the defensive side of the ball that had a whole lot of injuries. A lot
Ton
of
of
pieces
injuries.
that weren't where they were planned to be at the beginning of the year. Okay, so
Facts.
I'm very interested to see what Evero can do with a full healthy defense. Okay, with an entire
Yes.
off season, of hopefully, you know them being able to attract some free agents and draft better. Okay. Maybe they can get somebody in to pair with Derek Brown, Brian Burns, to kind of get that 1-2 punch like Highsmith and Watt in Pittsburgh. Okay. Later on in the year, you saw somewhat of a 1-2 punch from Derek Brown and Nick Thurman, and they ended up signing Nick Thurman at the end of the year because down the
Yes.
stretch, Nick Thurman was making a lot of plays. He
He
was making a
would.
lot of
He
plays on
was.
the other side of
Yes.
the line in the backfield. So, we don't know where that's going to go. Hopefully, they can build on that. But I would just love to see Evero and his scheme and, you know, JC Horn. And I'm gonna say Dante Jackson. I don't dislike Dante Jackson,
Oh, you
but
lost. I'm
I
gone.
I, I
I'm,
don't
I
I'm
got a
not
bad
confident in
connection.
him. Yeah, whatever. I don't dislike Dante Jackson, but
I don't
if they
dislike
decide to,
Dante Jackson as a person, but man, come on, dog. Like, I
if I see him throw one more
if
shoulder,
if people going to get on JC Horn about being injury prone and not being able to stay healthy, Dante Jackson ain't that far behind. Dante Jackson
he's
had to
not.
play the full season. He has not played the full season that I can remember since his rookie year, if he played a full season then. And when he's out there, he's not as effective as JC Horn.
Hey,
You
Tony,
know what I
Tony, hold,
mean?
hold on. He said can't afford to
Yeah,
lose it. He made a chicken salad with with what? And he talking about Evero. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. He definitely
yeah,
made chicken salad out of a bunch of turkey meat. So
yeah.
hey, and Will
No,
Robinson, 843 with the $5 super chat. He said the fellas are back. Thanks for the coverage of our favorite team. Hey man, we
what's up,
appreciate you,
Will?
y'all. We appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. But yeah,
Appreciate
man,
you, big
we
brother.
hey, as much of a wild ride as this season is, we love our Panthers. We love this whole podcast thing. We're gonna be here covering. But we appreciate the super chat, man. Really do.
Already.
Yep. But going back to Dante Jackson. Okay, yes, you're not wrong. He is not far from being injury prone. I would probably say he is injury prone. But let me tell you this. If that just him tackling sometimes alone for me is enough to pack his bags and send him out. If I see him throw that little tiny bony ass shoulder into another dude twice his size and think he's gonna come down with a tackle, I'm gonna lose it. Okay.
People, it's crazy. It's crazy that it's crazy that nobody has said this yet. That nobody has said this yet. I honestly and truly believe if you move Dante Jackson to free safety,
Mm-hmm.
he will be a Pro Bowler.
Eh,
If you could move, listen, if you move Dante Jackson to free safety and you want to play single high safety, if you want to play cover three, right? You
mhm.
want to play cover three, single high. Dante Jackson has the speed to cover either side of the field in a flash. In a
But
flash.
does he have the power to go up and make that thumping tackle like a lot of safeties do? When they
But
when they come.
that's strong safety. You're not asking him
Mhm.
to come down in the box. You're not asking him to come down in the box. You asking him to play middle of the field,
Mm-hmm.
cover the middle of the field, single high safety. He can make tackles, out out on the boundary or downfield or whatever like that. But he has the speed. He has the speed that he can play that single high safety position, man. I honestly and truly believe in my heart of hearts, you put him back there, he has
Mm-hmm.
the potential to be a Pro Bowler.
Okay.
And I've been saying that for a couple years now
Mm-hmm.
because one, he's too small to play um corner, in my opinion, because he doesn't have the technique. I remember when he came out of college, um, my comp to him was Denzel Ward. Denzel
Mm-hmm.
Ward, they both the same height, weigh the same, both ran what I think Dante ran the 4.3 flat in the combine, and Denzel Ward ran the 4.3 too. But Denzel Ward is a technician.
Mm-hmm.
He is a technician. That's not Dante Jackson. So put him in a position where he don't have to be technically sound. All you need him to do is to read and react. And he has the speed to do so.
Okay.
Hey Tony,
I I
I heard you
disagree,
was
but
looking
what's up,
for me.
though?
Tony, I heard you was looking for me.
Hey man, no, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna start with you today, Doug. I'm not. That's not you. Hey, you look. You were right. I was wrong. Let's move on.
Nah, you must say read the chat because I just told CJ like you dropped a gem, and I think CJ was on that on another channel when we talked about DJ playing safety. So that's
Mm-hmm.
crazy that this is
I've been saying that
another.
for like 2, 3 years.
But I understand, people say Madden is not real football. You're playing a video game. But again, you just compared his comp, but they said he can play corner, but for him to be a pro bowler and be a superstar, safety is his position. Just like Ike Ikwanu.
Yes,
He will be a okay tackle, but his Hall of Fame
be an
career,
all
Pro
pro
Bowl,
ball.
will be to move to guard.
With Icky at tackle, define okay.
I mean that's what they say. I mean they said okay, but but let's be real. They said Hall of
Oh
Fame.
God,
Like I'm being serious. They
Oh
said
man.
Hall of Fame and
Mm-hmm.
possible Pro Bowler. He can go to guard and dominate the game, and that's where I'm comparing to Dante Jackson.
Yeah.
It's the
And I
same
agree with
exact
Icky.
thing.
I agree with Icky. You
I,
move Icky inside, I
I,
think
I,
he'd be a lot better. I just, I
yeah.
okay. This is me with Dante Jackson. I would have to see it to believe it. I'd have to see it in front of my face. That's all.
Man,
I
listen.
could
If
just
you can,
imagine. I could just imagine him trying to cover somebody somebody deep and get hit, and then he's out for 5 games.
listen, if right now you got Xavier Woods and
Mm-hmm.
And Von Bell.
what and Von
Concrete
Bell.
hands.
Hey, but he caught two last year.
I
He
think he
caught
caught
one or
he
two last
I
year.
think he had the most on the team. So I say that in jest because
Yeah,
I had to take that back because he actually had he caught a few this year.
I
But go
mean,
ahead.
he snagged them all hands too. He wasn't no body
He sure
catch.
did.
He
He
snagged
sure
them all
did.
hands too. So, hey, but no, seriously, if if you had Dante playing single high safety
Y'all don't
majority of the time,
understand.
this is what Seattle did when Seattle had Earl Thomas. This is what Pittsburgh did a lot of times when they had Troy Polamalu and Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark played the strong safety, and Troy Polamalu played that deep safety, that single high safety a lot of times. If you can read and react with that kind of speed and get from sideline to sideline, which I believe Dante can, you don't have to be as technically sound at the safety position, especially free safety, as you do at corner. And he is not going to get any better technically than what he already is. He's like, what? This is year 7. Like he
Hmm.
is what he is at this point. If you want to
I'll
get the
say this.
most out of him, in my
No, you preaching the gospel. Hey, like I said, I'm gonna get off your
yeah,
back because you preaching gospel right now. You preach some good gospel, boy. Because I'm on the same page as you, Tony. Like again, there are pieces on this team. where Dan Morgan's job is going to be very hard. And I'm not going to stay on like I normally stay on because I already did my take on this on my channel. So I'm enjoying what you guys are doing. But a lot of the favorite players that we have, like the Dante Jacksons, the Frankie Louvous, the Brian Burns, um, Taylor Motons, it's a lot of hard decisions for Dan Morgan being in his first year. And I think it's gonna be a lot of
Fact.
cutthroat. It's gonna be a lot of cutthroat. I think a
Fact.
lot of
Yeah,
fans are gonna be like, whoa, what's going on? Like, Dan might need to be fired. Let the man do his job because again, we are so emotionally
exactly.
tied to some of these players, myself included. I'm emotionally
Mm-hmm.
tied to J.C. Horn. I hate when people say, "Oh, he's not," this, and that. That eight ball is something serious. That eight ball is something serious, man. And one thing that I know, word of mouth and showing me on the field is two different things. But we have to
Mm-hmm.
remember, he was not able to finish the year on the field a year
Yeah.
ago. He finished the season, and he said that it was so good for him eternally to actually finish the season not being injured and actually being out there on the field with his brothers. So I think again, we have to be patient and we have to
Mm-hmm.
see how where the chips may fall. I will
Yeah.
say, again, like we open up, I think we are on Evero's watch, but
Mm-hmm.
deep down, from what I'm hearing here locally in Texas, it's Dan Quinn's job to lose. They're going to do their due diligence, but it's Dan Quinn's
Mm,
job to lose. And I know a lot of people are saying, why would Evero come back? Carolina pass up on him twice for a head coaching job. No, they did not. Because I think if you really
right.
look at it, I understand where we did interview him for a head coach last year. I think we were doing our due diligence because we wanted him to be our defensive coordinator. That's just me personally. I think this year we did do it, but we also knew we needed an offensive guru, an offensive minded coach, a coach that
Mm-hmm.
could work with quarterbacks to be the new head coach. And I was this is the last thing I'm gonna say. I think Dan Canales, and if you look at the comparisons that I'm about to break down, reminds me a lot of Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell was not a respected hire in Detroit. People thought that they were losing their mind by bringing in Dan Campbell when they brought him in. And if you
Yes,
look
they
at the
did.
growth, if you look at the growth that he brought to Detroit, they had an okay first year. And then I think the second year they went on hard knocks, if I'm not mistaken. And I think they went on a 6 to 7 game win streak. And now they're a
Mm-hmm.
prominent team in the
Yeah, at the end of the
NFC.
season.
Yep, and then now they're in a prominent team in the NFC, now playing to possibly be in the Super Bowl on tomorrow, man. So, like I said, just be patient, man. Again, if you liking the content from my guys CJ and Tony, y'all already been hitting the like button. Y'all been sending the super chats, but as they have asked, hit that subscribe button for them. Definitely continue to show them love, man. Again, this is just the beginning. This is another off season where a lot of your Panther content creators are going to be throwing different things at you. So if you love what you're hearing, hit that subscribe button for them, man. Definitely continue to show them love, man. And you know I'm out of here. Like I said, most time I stay up here, but I'm gonna go in the backstage and continue to, support you guys, man. So y'all know where to find me at.
Hey, appreciate you, Doug.
All right, get
Appreciate
your
you,
ass
Yes,
Doug.
on
sir.
then.
Look, go ahead, look, go ahead and say something wrong. Cause see, I was going in peace. I was going in peace. You look, you just like that
Oh
cousin where
God.
you trying to leave and then the cousin want to talk junk. So okay, look, CJ,
Oh God.
I'm in the
That's
chat
usually
on him now.
me. That's
See, no,
usually me.
look, CJ, I'm on him now. So let him mess up on the stat, and I'm gonna jump right
Uh-huh.
back in all
Hey,
them
don't worry. The,
categories.
the, link- the link ain't gonna change. Come on right back.
But nah, y'all will enjoy, man. Again, y'all continue to support them as y'all have not stopped been doing, but continue to share the channel, share the videos out for them so new people can come and see the great content that they got, man. So y'all stay safe, y'all stay blessed. One love, y'all know where to find me, man.
Appreciate you, Doug.
Appreciate it, man.
All right. I want to read the money here again. Mr. Hunky Dory. Again with a $2 super chat. Appreciate it. Said 2023 50-man
Appreciate it,
roster.
Mr. Dory.
Maybe 15 to 20 remain in 2024. That is a fact. I think it's gonna be a lot of I think it's gonna be a lot of turnover. A lot of turnover. Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully for the better.
Hopefully
Hopefully
for
for
the
the
better.
better.
Yeah. But
Like I
Mr.
said,
Hunky
like
Dory,
like we
appreciate you
said,
though.
Dan Morgan and Dave Canales definitely got their work cut out for them. And like Doug was just saying, I just want people to be patient. Try
Mm-hmm.
to be patient. I know we are some of the most impatient people in the world, especially sports fans. You know,
Yeah.
we want everything right now. Well, like the old saying goes, Rome wasn't
Hmm.
built in a day.
Yep.
So,
You're right.
you just have to be patient. Hopefully Temple falls back and that the football gurus do their thing. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
You're
I
right.
think
And
I
I
think
want.
it'd be a lot less noisy if
Mhm.
he don't say nothing.
Exactly. Hey, I wanted to get
Yeah,
back to Stephen Bailey's comment here. He said offensive coordinator didn't give tight ends and running backs on the pass rush to chip or block. 65 sacks was the result. Okay, and I tend to agree with that because I keep saying this and I stress this: scheme, scheme, scheme. Okay,
yeah,
scheme. You got to have the right scheme, and that's all. Passing concepts, blocking concepts, everything, route running, all of that. And I think all of that was severely lacking in Carolina last year. All right. And then he also said our defense was equally weak, fourth from the bottom of the league and giving up touchdowns. Couldn't pressure the QBs, had less sacks than either the Commanders or Patriots. That last
all
sentence
facts,
is all facts. All
all
facts.
facts.
Let me tell you what, it's
Yes,
straight gas, no brakes. Could not pressure the quarterback. Could not. That's one thing we could not do. We could not get to the other team's quarterbacks. And it was so frustrating because if you go back and you look at the game, especially if you take whatever blinder that you have off for whatever reason for this team. Okay, you take the blind off and you look at the game, look at the play, rewind it, look at it again, rewind it, look at it again, especially on defense. A lot of those other quarterbacks were just standing back there. Let me see. First read, second read, third read, fourth read, check down. And they had all day. Now
right,
that wasn't the case every game, but that was the case the majority of the season. There was the defense did not really get a whole lot of pressure or enough pressure to influence the game like we would have liked them to be able to do. Okay.
right, right.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
What you got?
if Barrows under contract and Temple wants to retain him to run a 3-4.
Hey,
Well, like we said, he's still under contract, and I don't think he's going to leave Carolina if he don't get a head coaching job. Like I wouldn't see the point of him leaving unless he got
mm-hmm.
a head coaching job. But
Yeah.
we
Oh
don't
yeah.
know for sure. But I would love to see him stay intact if he didn't, because a lot of the defensive coaches he brought over with him from Denver. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to say he's responsible for them, but they made the move to Carolina, on the strength of him. So,
Yeah.
like I said, if he don't get the job in Seattle or Washington, why
Mm-hmm.
not just stay in Carolina and build on what you started this year? That's what I would love
Oh
to
yeah.
see.
They just said, can we trade Sanders for Big Mac? Big Mac who? Or are you talking about McDonald's Big Mac? I'm just missing the point here. Am I missing the person?
I I
Hey,
don't
look.
know. I
Hey,
don't know
look.
who.
Clarify that for me. I think that it's gone
I
over my
I
head. I'm just trying to make.
I think Nate is talking about Big Mac, like
Oh, okay.
McDonald's.
Hey, hey.
Oh,
Oh man, I hate it for Miles Sanders. I had high hopes for him, and it just didn't pan out for him this year. You know,
well,
let me see. Miles Sanders
we
had a
we
bad
we
year
can't.
because we didn't have the tight ends, receivers, knowing how to block for his off tackle runs. Eagles gave that to him.
I was just going to say we can't say that the scheme was bad and offensive line was bad and expect Miles Sanders to do much. Now, Chuba made Chuba made lemonade out of lemons. I ain't gonna lie.
Hmm.
He had a very productive year. But
More north than south.
yeah, exactly, more north to south.
Hmm.
But I think in the right scheme with the right blocking scheme, that plays to the offensive lineman strength, regardless of if we keep who we got or whoever we add into the mix or what have you.
Hmm.
I we still have Miles Sanders on the cheap. He's only
Hmm.
costing $7 million dollars a year.
Yeah, he's
That's
on a 3-year deal,
towards,
right?
yeah, 3 year deal, 7 million a year. So you still got him for at least another year. At 7 million, like that's not really a bad value, in my opinion. So we'll see. We'll see on that
Yeah.
one.
Let me see. Rock Jones said, "Which team do you see drafting your boy Drake May, and who are we picking at 33? Player specific." I think Drake May's probably going to be a top 5 pick. Probably the Commanders. I would
Yeah, I was
I
just going to
wouldn't.
say Washington.
I think he'll probably go to Washington. And with us at 33, I don't really know yet. Okay.
Yeah.
Me personally, I think it should be offensive lineman. I did a mock draft, just kind of for the hell of it a few days ago, where I traded up to like I was a late first round. I think it was like Buffalo or something. And I picked the offensive tackle from Duke. I can't remember his name. Um,
No,
yeah.
okay.
Asking me to remember all these guys' names right now is gonna be a no-go because I gotta sit down and actually, do some things so I can remember their names.
But yeah, Rock. Soon as the Super Bowl is over, maybe a week after the Super Bowl is over, we got a couple of ideas. We're going to start looking at different draft prospects at each position. Something that we're going to do with What's Up Doug and Uncle Quan from Panthers Experience. We're going to do a thing where we collaborate and we're going to go through each position group. And I think basically what I want to see, because we don't have a first round draft pick, we're going to look at who will be available at the top of the second round, and from the second round on. So I think we're going to
Hmm.
start looking at that, but we're going to have some things coming up here within the next couple weeks, and we could definitely answer that question for you
Yep.
then.
7 million for a backup running back.
I mean, so I could understand why some people will have some hesitation about that, but when you think about your backup running back, especially somebody that's already only reason I'm really saying that right now is because he's currently under contract.
Hmm.
Okay, he's still scheduled to come back this year. Now it could be a situation where you could trade Miles Sanders and possibly get a second or third round draft pick. You very well could, you very well could do that. But if
Hmm.
Dan Morgan and Dave Canales sees value in keeping him, and that he maybe could be an asset in the offense going forward, then I don't see anything wrong with that either. Like we're we're basing our decision on what we think of what happened last year. They're going to see that last year and also what he's done throughout his career, and if he can fit into their scheme. And if they feel like he can fit into their scheme, I ain't mad at it.
Hmm. Ben says mock draft today, no trades. Hey, let me tell you, if I could do one right now with number 33, I'm taking the offensive lineman. With the number 65 in the third round. If okay, if we get a decent enough pick with that second round pick, and what's a man named Trez Walker from Carolina is
Oh
still there in the
yeah,
third
Tez
round.
Walker. Yeah.
I might entertain taking him. If he's gone, I'm taking another offensive lineman or best defensive lineman available. Let
I,
me see. Go ahead, Tony.
I don't say I don't know how true this is, but I saw on Twitter yesterday where someone said that Keon Coleman, the wide receiver from Florida State,
Hmm.
is looking to possibly fall to the fourth or fifth round. Let me tell you something.
Really?
If he falls anywhere
Hmm.
out of first round, that is a draft steal of the day for somebody, because
Mm,
that boy is bad. That is a hell of a wide receiver. I don't know, like I said, I don't know how true it is. I saw it and I was
mm,
like, nah, this can't be right. Because I haven't seen no reports to say anything bad about Keon Coleman. But you talking about 6'4", 215, run a 4.4, and can
mm,
jump out the gym. I
mm.
mean, that you
Hey,
talking about one of the top receivers in the draft.
this I traded for a third round pick all day long. Josh says, It's offensive lineman Cooper Beebe or center Jackson Powers Johnson at 33. Jackson Powers Johnson. Oh God, what team does he play for? Is it
I think
Kansas?
Oregon. No, Cooper Beebe played for Kansas State.
Okay, gotcha,
Cooper Beebe
gotcha.
is the I think he's a center. He played center this year, but he also played guard as well. Interior
Mm,
offensive lineman from Kansas State, and I believe Jackson Powell Johnson went to Oregon.
okay. Doug said another coach cut. Thomas Brown will not be returning. Hey, well, damn, that didn't take long. We called that about an hour ago.
Yeah,
and we said he would come. Appreciate that, Doug. He said,
yeah.
Ben said, what's your thoughts on wide receiver since you go off? Well, Tony just said you about Keon Coleman. Now, mind you, now the wide receiver group in total, and I know I say this, he's under contract, but you bring back Adam Thielen, it's to me, it might be some weird way he's not here next
I would
year.
love for them to bring back
And
Adam Thielen.
I,
They
I,
need to
I, I
bring
would
back Adam Thielen.
I never say never. I would love to see them be able to maybe target a top wide receiver in free agency. Now that's all going to depend on the cap, how much money we have, how much money they're able to
Yeah,
free up. Um, Mike Evans is already being linked to Dave Canales. He even put out a tweet and said that you can't be nothing but happy for Canales being hired as a coach in Carolina. So, like Tony always like to say, you can read the tea leaves and think everything about that. But let me tell you, if they got an
he
opportunity to
is a
go
free
after
agent.
Mike Evans, they better take it. They better
He
take
is
it.
a free agent.
They better
I
take
don't, I, I don't care if you get him for a year or 2 years.
it.
Get Mike.
Get
Mike
Mike.
said this is the best year he had since he's been in Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
He said I've never been this wide open in a scheme like I have been this year in Tampa Bay. Because he said he
Bruh.
liked the fact that Canales moved him around from the slot, from the
Mm-hmm.
X receiver, to the Z. He just had him
Yeah.
all over the field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm Jedi. Hey, but welcome. I don't know if you've been in here before. I don't recognize that name,
Who's
but
that?
welcome to the chat. Said no way on God's green earth is anyone giving a fourth round for my
Yeah, yes, they will. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Miles Sanders is a year removed from being the third or fourth leading rusher in the NFL and making the Pro Bowl. Now, anybody that looks at what happened to Carolina this year can say there's a multitude of things that happened that kept Miles Sanders from
Mm-hmm.
being productive. Now, however you look at it, however you value him,
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna always um be the be the main thing. But
Yeah.
I think that Miles Sanders is at least worth a third or fourth round draft pick. He
Okay.
anything less than that, I think that's like totally disrespectful. And I don't
Yeah.
think Carolina would trade him for anything less than that.
Yeah, I don't think so neither. Stephen Bailey said linemen, defensive back, receivers should be value receiver picks in third or fourth round. And and I don't disagree with that. Okay, I don't disagree with that at all. But they got to make sure, and like I said, let's go back to Dan Morgan. They got to make sure that his scouting department, they do their due diligence. And if they see, a diamond in the rough or a gem that falls in those later rounds, they got to be ready to jump on it. Okay. And even if they were to be in a situation where they, maybe traded to go up a slot or two, because a lot of teams they get inclination that somebody's going to draft a player that they're targeting, and they draft one or two picks ahead of whatever current pick they have now. So whatever they have to do, but it all comes down to scouting and them knowing and doing their due diligence on all these players. So I wouldn't be opposed to
Right,
that. South
right.
Carolina wide receiver number 17. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't even know who that
Come on,
is. I'm sorry.
Xavier Leggett. Xavier
Okay.
Leggett, big
Okay.
body wide receiver out of South Carolina. Yeah,
Amigos.
Calvin really
Calvin really.
lost
And, look, and,
amigos.
hold on. And then Doug promptly responded, no.
I don't know what they're talking about. No about.
I,
What we talking
I,
about?
well, I don't know if it was the South Carolina wide receiver or Calvin really, but I got a kick out of that.
It's all caps, so he probably yelling at me. Something I don't know.
Jonathan Mingo, big man, he could be trained for the slot to block. How
Yeah,
about
yeah, he can.
Hopkins? Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
They tried to get him here last year. He didn't come, so
We'll
I don't
see.
know if they.
There are definitely some options that's available in free agency when it comes to wide receivers this year. And I think with a new regime, I think David Tepper is going to give them the leeway. I don't think he has no problem with spending money. He has shown in the past he has no problem being aggressive because at the end of the day he wants to win. So I think Dan
Mm.
Morgan, those guys are gonna have um I think they're gonna have the green light to go out there and do their thing. But first we gotta get somebody in house that can manage the cap because Samir Suleiman is no longer with the organization.
And I think who's my man from Kansas City? I think they might be targeting him to come in
Brandon
and do
Tillis.
the Tillis. Yeah, I think they're going to
Yeah.
target whoever it is for another spot, like Suleiman had for what is it, contracts and salary cap issues and stuff like that. All right. Let me see. I never thought Miles Sanders was going to be that bad, but I can't imagine he doesn't play next year season with a better line, in my opinion. And and that's what
I
it's
agree.
if he doesn't get traded, okay, which I know a lot of y'all in the comments saying nobody's gonna want him. But the thing is, you saw what he did in Philly with a good line and the right scheme. So it's not that far fetched to say that he couldn't do the same thing with Carolina, but we have to get those pieces in place, and they were definitely not in place. Scheme, talent, you name it, was all over the place last year. All right.
Let me ask you this. Do you think last year Chuba Hubbard was more of the power back and Miles Sanders was more of that shifty back?
Mm-hmm.
Because Miles Sanders has never been known to be a power back, but he has a little bit of wiggle, you
Mm-hmm.
know, can make you miss, type of thing. But I think Chuba really stepped up his game since he's been drafted. His hands
Yeah.
have definitely got better. He's definitely playing with his feet up under him. He loves the contact. He's gotten bigger. Pause. He got thicker. So I wanted to go ahead and throw that in there. So I think he was more of a power back than people want to believe. Only thing I didn't like with Chuba was that if the hole wasn't there, he would stop his feet. And as a
Mm-hmm.
running back, that's one of the worst things you want to do. Do not stop your feet behind the line of scrimmage. That is running back 101. Keep your feet moving,
Yeah.
eyes up, and always look for something. It was too easy each time when you saw that a hole wasn't there where it's supposed to
Mm-hmm.
be, his feet would stop moving, tackle for loss.
Yep. Yep. Let me see. Stephen Bailey said, "Yep, Amon-Ra St. Brown was a fourth round pick. Puka Nakua, a fifth round pick. All about the
Hmm.
scouts doing their job, and that's going to be
Facts.
paramount for this team this year. They got to scout properly, and they got to know what they want and who available or whatever pick they have. Do they fit the scheme and where they want to go as a team or as an offense and defense too? All right. And here it is, Joe. Go. What's going on with Burns? Is he coming to Chicago?
Just,
Hey,
just, just don't even get that no energy, CJ. Just go on to the next. You know what he's trying to do. You know what Los Four Amigos trying to do. We're not fooling with you right now.
he said we just hired Washington for defensive coordinator.
Watch the who?
Washington who? Let us know, Migo. He said hire Tillis today. We need him in our building. Facts.
Yeah.
Jedi said, I like how Chuba gets north and south. He doesn't like dance moves. You know what? Now he doesn't like dance moves, but I put a short out a few weeks ago from the Green Bay game, and I swear it was like either third and less than one or fourth and one, and you could tell the play was going to the left. Everybody was blocking down. Okay, so you got Icky, Mays, Bozeman, I think Gabe Jackson, all going to the left. They all picked up a man. Taylor Moton sat there just like this, kind of sliding to the side.
Like,
And
like
the damn defensive end linebacker, whoever was there, ran right around Taylor Moton ass and made the tackle on Hubbard. And it looked
You
like
made it
to
short on
me,
that, didn't you?
yeah, I made a short on that. If y'all want to go check that
Yeah.
out, greatly appreciate it. But to me, it looked like Taylor was supposed to pick that dude up, and he just kind of forgot because he did one of these numbers. He kind of turned around like, oh shit, and try to throw his hand back, but it was too late. And if you look at the play and pause it, when Taylor Moton looks back, Chuba, if he could have, if that guy wasn't coming, pause, if he wasn't coming at him from the side, there was there was a cutback. There was a cutback, and it was nothing but green grass. He would have at least got the first down, and he might have been able to break one more tackle, and he might have scored, and that may have been the game. Okay, so
Right.
but yeah,
Right. Philly lost
if,
playoff games because it did not tackle. They hit and did not wrap up.
mm.
What's up, Dunn?
He said
Say he out,
Miles
fellas.
Washington. Miles Washington. I don't know
No,
who
he's
that
talking about
is.
Eric Washington. Remember, Eric Washington used to be our defensive line coach a
Oh, oh,
while back.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they
Gotcha,
just
gotcha,
they
gotcha.
just hired him as a defense coordinator in Chicago.
Oh, and you
Okay,
know, and I'm reading a comment from somebody other than Amigos. My bad. I'm reading Jedi's comment. I'm sorry. I appreciate you,
okay.
Doug. It says Chicago won't go anywhere in the next 10 years. Oh Lord.
Hey, we do not have the right to talk about who not going anywhere the way
Yeah,
our team
I'm
played this year. Yeah, hey,
he
we got
said
outplayed by Chicago, dog.
that
What is that?
definitely pause worthy. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
that was a pause, dog.
Hey, look, hey, that's what we just said, Migo. We ain't got no right to tell nobody nothing. we,
Yeah,
we ain't
yeah,
got
we
no
ain't got
right
no
to tell
right,
nobody
dog.
nothing. We agree. We
We ain't
agree
got
with
no,
you, dog.
we ain't got no right.
Whole, wholeheartedly,
Mm-mm.
we agree with you. All right. I want to get on our next subject here real quick. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this Joker, but I got to talk about him. Okay.
All right,
So,
was good.
all right, hold on. Let me get this off here real quick. Pepper. All right, I think this is going to be the biggest issue for us this off season and this upcoming season. Is he still meddling? Is he still going to be a meddler? Is he going to have his hand in the honey pot too much? Okay. Do you think that he's learned his lesson, or is his ego just that ginormous where he can't sit down, take a look at all the things that have transpired, and say, you know what? Let me go about this a different direction. Or is this just going to be the same old rinse and repeat that we've seen from him for the past however many years he's owned the Panthers? What, 6 years now?
Yeah, but that's the thing. We don't know. We have to give
Yeah.
this new situation time to develop. We hope that it's not anything like in the past. And like I said before, the type of not relationship is not the word I'm looking for.
Dynamic.
The type of no, not dynamic.
Okay.
He doesn't have a very good resume as an owner right now in the NFL. Like I said, especially when you go back and you think about the drink that he threw on a fan in the Jaguars game. He's in a position right now where to somewhat clean up his image or have any hope of having a positive effect going forward on his organization, I think he needs to fall back. And I think he made the first step and with not only naming Dan Morgan the GM, but the president of operations. Now, typically, you got president of football operations, then you have a vice president of football operations. Who would that
Mm-hmm.
be? Would that be if they brought Brandon Tillis over from Kansas City? Would they give
Mm-hmm.
him that? That would be a lateral move because he's the vice president of football operations right now in Kansas City.
Okay.
So I don't know if he would want to make a lateral move like that. Like, would you really want to leave Kansas City and come to Carolina? I wouldn't. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Not in no lateral move, but
Mm-hmm.
you got so many people out there screaming about Nicole is taking Spanish. Who was oh
I was trying to wait for you to finish, Tony. I was trying to wait for you to finish,
oh
dog. Let
my
me tell
god.
you. Oh, let me tell you, I first heard this the other night. Shout out to Rashad and Dave over at PNP. I was watching this stream
I
the
had
other night,
completely lost my
and
thought. I don't know what I was
hey,
talking about.
and somebody said the same thing. They were like, they said they said Nicole
Oh my
Temple was about to
God.
she gonna learn Spanish now that Canales is the head coach. Ah, oh my goodness. I was
Oh,
man, I was trying to wait until you finished because I knew
oh
if I
my
said
God.
anything, I was gonna do just that and you was gonna lose your train of thought. Oh man, let me tell you that. Oh, okay, and again, not putting this out there in the world or not, but that crap is funny. I don't care who you are. It's just funny. It's what it is. Mr. Hunky Dory again with another super chat, $5. Thank you so much.
All
Thank you,
right, my
thank you.
man.
He
Thank you.
says
Thank you, sir.
non-political, but comparing Trump and Tepper, neither ain't gonna shut up. Always gonna meddle and talk.
But
Hey,
go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say I agree, but go ahead, Tom.
Like I said, I'm just trying to be optimistic.
Hmm.
I'm just going to think positive about the situation. But we will never know until it happens.
Hmm.
But I think the things that they are putting in place is for him to fall back and let the people that he hired,
Hmm.
let them do their thing. But
Yeah.
every owner is not the same. Don't get me wrong. Every owner is not the same, but you don't want your owner to be a meddling owner because we see
Hmm.
that never works out good for any franchise.
Nah.
Any franchise
Mm-mm.
that have a meddling owner has never worked out. So, like
Hmm.
I said, I just think I hope that he just falls back and let Dan Morgan and the team do their thing.
Hey, Ben said, "Tell me the type you have to lie to, and then do what you need to do to be successful." Hey, you know what? That might be what they have to do. That is hilarious. That's funny. But
Yeah.
that's not far fetched at all. And say he should have thrown that drink in Chicago. And say if he done
Shit.
that there,
Yeah, there's a
you
lot of
know what
games
would
he
have
throwing at.
happened. Oh my God, I just throwing his bottle of Milwaukee's best at people, man. I'm telling you. What I appreciate about Tepper is his desire for success. He will throw spaghetti against the wall until he finds something that will stick. You know what? And to that, I have no problem with anybody that's motivated and wants things to work. But at the same time, and I take this approach, like in my job, and and you have to be able to you have to be able to adapt. Okay, if you've
Right,
been doing this for
right.
6 years and it's not working for a reason. Okay, and you got to be able to take criticism. Okay, you got to be able for whoever
That
you
part.
trust, whoever that is, okay, to sit you down and say, hey dog, this is not working. I'm not gonna lie to you, you are the problem. But the thing with Tepper is, does he have do we have any of those people that can sit him down and say that to him, and he believes it, and he takes that into consideration and tries to move forward. He's a billionaire. He got whatever he wants. He might have that mindset where it's like, you can't tell me nothing. I know what I'm doing. So hey, it said Tepper is a want to be
I'm
Jerry
sorry.
Jones.
I'm sorry left in the comments, man. Good
Hey,
going, Mr. Hunky Dory.
Mr. Hunky Door, another super chat. Thank you, man. Really appreciate it. He said put some perks in
I
Tepper's
appreciate it, man.
drink.
Oh God, I'm
Hey,
weak.
something. Hey, look, next thing you know, he gonna be up there swag
Oh
surfing like
God.
Taylor Swift and them in the Kansas City game.
Be out there like Jason Kelsey with his shirt off.
Oh my, hey, could you imagine the memes? Could you imagine the memes for that? David Tepper ever pulled a Travis Kelsey? Oh my God. Lord have mercy. Hey,
Not
again,
Travis,
Mr. Hunky Dory, thank you.
Jason
We
Kelsey.
appreciate you. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah,
But
Mr. Hunky
again,
Dory.
Mr. Hunky Dory, thank you. We appreciate you. But but yeah, man, it's just is Tepper willing to look in the mirror, or does anybody have the wherewithal to sit him down and say, hey, all right, you might not like what I'm gonna say, you might not talk to me no more, whatever, but I'm gonna tell you. And will he listen to it? That is the thing. Because I do
It's just
think
to wait,
that,
wait and see.
yeah, I do think that Dan Morgan can be a good GM. Like I said, I was pissed about it at first because I was just like, I thought we would clean house. I thought that was the whole point. You clean house, you restructure, you get the hell out of the way and let these new people come in and do what they do. But I think
Right,
Morgan can do a good job as a GM. I think Canales can do a good job as the head coach. But this little dude right here, has got to step out of the way. He has to.
yeah,
He has to. This is not this right here. This right here is keeping this ship from floating. Okay, this is the hole in the bottom of the boat. All right, this is what's
exactly,
making the ship
exactly.
sink. All right here, David Tepper. All right, but yeah. Let me see. Has there been any reports of what Tepper actually meddled in outside of the number one pick last draft, which every owner would have a say so in that situation? Um,
Yeah,
not that I know
I
of.
had to agree. I had to agree with you on that one. What's it,
Hmm.
Double OK?
Yeah.
Because when I see that, and I constantly hear people always saying, "Well, David Tepper meddling in this, he's saying this, he's saying that." I don't think so much that is meddling. I just think there have been times where he said things that didn't quite make sense, and he
Hmm.
made it seem like he knew about something or how some, especially when it comes to football. It's been quite evident that he don't know shit about football. Okay, so
Hmm.
from that standpoint, he should keep his mouth closed.
Hmm.
When it comes to football, keep your mouth closed. Do whatever you need to do as far behind the scenes, looking for practice facility, building the practice
Hmm.
facility, giving to the community, do those type of things, you and Nicole Tepper. But as far as football stuff, that's not your expertise. So I don't think he should really be talking about it.
Hmm.
But yeah, as far as that, I haven't seen him meddle. When I think of an owner meddling, I think of someone like Jerry Jones. I think of somebody that wants to be the GM, the president, and the owner. Like Jerry
Hmm.
Jones talks more about the Cowboys than McCarthy, Dan Quinn, and Dak Prescott put together. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
Jerry Jones got the morning radio show and
Hmm.
the morning podcast. Now I ain't gonna say podcast, but I do know he be on the radio every Monday or Tuesday morning in
Yeah.
Dallas. So
Hey, but Tony,
yeah,
okay. Now outside of that, okay, if that's the only situation where meddled in, but that was a big one though, cuz that was a big one with Bryce Young. Now, mind you, like you said, we wanted CJ Stroud when we were doing our mock drafts leading up to the draft last year, but we also said if we got Bryce Young, we would rock with him because he'd be our quarterback, and we didn't see any real issues with Bryce Young. We just favored CJ Stroud. But the thing is,
right.
if that was a Tepper situation, that was the start of that was the first domino that knocked over a lot of things for the rest of the season. Okay, because
But
I hold on. I think
but
that if Frank Wright wanted Stroud, okay, and he didn't want Young, I believe that Frank Wright was trying to I don't want to say like sabotage, but no, let me. Okay, I'm not gonna say sabotage, but it was just like he wouldn't try to kind of work his scheme with Bryce Young. He was determined, like we always say, to make that square peg fit in the round hole. And that square peg was Bryce, and the hole was his scheme. He was not willing
yeah,
to try and adapt that scheme at all for Bryce Young. Okay, and if that was the only instance of him meddling, that was a big instance. Okay, and I think that really
right.
affected our team poorly this entire season. So I just want to throw that out there.
I don't quite see it that way because this wouldn't be the first time, and definitely not going to be the last time where owner, especially when you got the first overall draft pick,
Mm-hmm.
has put in his 2 cents about who he want as his franchise quarterback. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there are some owners that have veto or overridden, coaches and GMs because they say this their guy, whether it's in the draft or whether it's a big name free agent or whatnot. So it's that's not nothing. Um, nah, it's not anything new. But I think where the real problem came is Frank Wright didn't want to build his offense around Bryce Young. Cause you can say whoever you want at quarterback, whether it's Bryce Young or CJ Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
Most teams that I can recall watching this game with the first round draft pick, especially if you draft a quarterback in the top 10 or even with the first overall pick, you want to build your scheme around said quarterback. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Young, whatever scheme he ran that made him a Heisman Trophy winner,
You
whatever
bring that
scheme he
scheme.
ran that made him the number 1 overall pick, that's what you want to do for your quarterback, and everything else
Mm-hmm.
is built around him. Frank Wright didn't want to do that.
Yeah, hey Tony, hold on real quick. Report has cited that Morgan reports to Tepper and Canales reports to Nicole. Buenos dias, senorita. All right. All right, hey, Rod Jones, man,
So
you gonna
so
get me
so
messed up
so I
today,
guess
man.
I guess I guess he gonna I guess Nicole gonna greet Canales. Hola, hola, papi.
Okay. All right. Okay. Next comment. Oh God. He said you have to remember Scott Fitty clearly wanted Bryce Young. He was tipping it off the entire season. All right. Tepper should never condense coaches and
Never
players and
content.
lock. Oh, or condescending. I'm sorry. Never condescend
Yeah,
coaches, players in the locker room or in front of each other. Lack of respect or professionalism on his part. And
that's true.
Double O Kane said, he said, nah, I say it. I thought Frank intentionally sabotaged Bryce because he was not who he wanted. Okay, so I'm not the only one who kind of thought that. So all right,
No, but
uh,
yeah, you said that one time before, and there have been people out there in Panther Nation that has put that out in the ether as well on Twitter. I've seen that quite a few times. About
hey,
Frank Wright sabotage, but I told you, CJ, I was like, I think Frank Wright was more hell bent on proving
mm-hmm,
that his time in Indianapolis was a fluke. I
yes,
think he wanted to
mm-hmm,
get that taste out his mouth. I think he was more
pause.
concerned with that than
Sorry.
I think he was more concerned with that than uh building his scheme or the right scheme around Bryce Young.
Yeah, I agree, and his determination to make that crap work in turn sabotage this season. Not
Right.
it may not have been intentionally, but it damn sure led to it. All right. Let me see. Nadir
Hmm.
said, at least he has money. Can you imagine if we still had Matt Rule? Absolutely
No, I
not. All right.
cannot.
BM will say, y'all are tripping in the chat. Yeah, hey, we are here for it and we love it and we appreciate all y'all. We appreciate you.
No doubt. No
All
doubt.
right. Tony, we're gonna get to the last topic of today, and we got the championship games coming up tomorrow. All right, you have the Detroit Lions going to visit the San Francisco 49ers, and the Chiefs of Kansas City going to visit the Ravens of Baltimore. All right, and Tony and everybody in the chat, who you got, and tell me why.
Well, up until a couple hours ago, earlier, a few hours ago, I was taking Detroit over San Francisco, but the report came out that Debo Samuel will play Sunday. So with that being said, I'm about to take San Francisco at home, and I'm taking Baltimore over Kansas City. Reason why I'm taking Baltimore over Kansas City because I believe they have a better overall defense. They have the number 1 defense in the league.
Mm,
I think they're going to cause problems up front. And even though the receivers for Kansas City played probably their best game of the season last week, I commend them for the catches that they made. The offensive line thing only had like 2 penalties and they only had one drop. But that defense in Buffalo ain't like that defense in Baltimore. So I think that's gonna be the difference. And I think Lamar gonna get his first trip to Super Bowl.
Okay. All right. Me personally, I still think Detroit. I'm going with them for the upset in San Francisco. And it's kind of I don't have anything against San Francisco. I would just really like to see Detroit go to the Super Bowl. But if San Francisco does end up winning,
Right.
hey, it's great. I know quite a few San Francisco fans, and I'm not pulling against y'all. I'm just pulling for the upset. All right. Now in AFC, I think this is going to be a real interesting game. I don't actually know, who I would go with because I would not bet against Lamar and the Ravens, but I would also not bet against Mahomes and the Chiefs. Okay, because I thought for sure they was gonna go into Buffalo and catch a fade last week, and it did not happen. You
Hmm.
know, being that was do you know that was Mahomes' first road game in the NFL? That was his
First
first
road game.
road game. That man has played what 6, 7, 8 playoff games, and they were all at home.
This
Every
this
one
is
of
the
them.
sixth straight AFC championship game that he has played in. He has played an AFC championship game every year he has been in the league.
Six, six, except for like his first season when he sat. But
Well, yeah,
from then on, every year AFC Championship game. That's why
yeah.
I said I'm not going to sit here and bet against Mahomes, but I'm not going to bet against Lamar either. I would love to see the Ravens win, and I know my homeboy Eddie if he's watching this, I know he's clapping right now. But I love to see the Ravens win, but I can't not bet on Kansas City. Okay, so that's going to be one of the
The
wait and sees for me.
Kansas City got a good defense, but they defense ain't Baltimore. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Kansas City got a
Did
strong defense, but they are not Baltimore. And yeah, just like Detroit got a good offensive line, but their offensive line is not
mm,
as strong to me as San Francisco offensive line. And I
okay.
believe San Francisco front four can get after um Jared Goff a whole lot better than Detroit gonna be able to get off of Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy can move a little bit. Jared Goff
Mm,
is a statue.
okay. All right, let's go to the
Yeah.
chat here. And yeah, Baltimore and Detroit in the Super Bowl. Mr. Hunky Dory, San Francisco by 8, Baltimore by 8 also. Stephen Bailey, I'll take Goff's arm over Purdy. Casey's defense is too strong. Mahomes and Kelce worth a few TDs alone. Ah, mm, yeah,
We'll see.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Dale said Baltimore's defense will win big. We
Yeah,
shall see, everybody. We shall see. But yeah, man, this right here ought to be a very, you know, interesting slate of games that come on tomorrow. And but yeah, man. Yeah. Well, y'all, that's it for us today. We appreciate everybody that has been in the chat. We appreciate everybody that has shown us love with the super chats. We will
definitely
definitely put
appreciate it,
that
man.
back into the channel to help the channel grow. Okay. Um, let me see. It was something else I wanted to. Oh, and I was looking at I was looking at our page while Tony was talking a little while ago, and the one thing that I did want to happen today has happened today, and I thank everybody for it. We are finally over 900 subscribers. We're at 901.
Yes,
So
sir.
shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody that has subscribed to the channel. We love you and we appreciate you. All right. So
And if you
Tony, you got
haven't
anything else?
subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that now.
Please, if you haven't, please go ahead and subscribe for us. We are on our way to 1,000 subscribers. Where that is our goal, so we can get some things going with the channel. We want to be able to give back to all you guys, especially those that have been with us for a long time, who jump on the live every time that we go live. We're going to start going live a whole lot more. You know,
Right.
we both work and have things to do, so we can't get on here every day, but we're gonna get on here more often and chop it up with everybody. All right. But Tony, you got anything else you want to
No
say?
doubt. Nah, man, I appreciate all the engagement that we had today. I think we constantly had, a good presence in the chat,
Mm-hmm.
people watching. Like I said, we're gonna have some more content going forward, especially with the draft prospects and different things like that. So just because the season's over with, that don't mean that we're done. So we just right now trying to get some
Mhm.
things. I'm not gonna
All here,
respond to
baby.
Ron. Yeah, we just trying to get some things together right now, get some things better prepared for you. So season two for two fans and stands will be on and popping and be much
Yes,
better.
sir. All right, y'all. Like I do every week, I like to take everybody out with a positive message. Okay. So number one, y'all be good. Number two, y'all be safe. And number three, as always, and most important, Panther Nation, keep pounding, y'all. We out.